Okay, so now we know that everything's working okay. What we need to do now is go on and build our form. So if we just take a quick look at our finished contact form, you can see we have the contact header, then a little line of paragraph text underneath that. Then the actual form starts under this, so we have the name field, an email field, a text area that is used for the body of the message, and then we have the anti-spam field, which is a simple checkbox to prove that the user is human and prevents spam bots from filling your inbox with unwanted messages. So if we head to our index page, first we need to set up our section. So we can get rid of this hello world text here for starters. So first we can add in our section tag. Then we add in our section ID, which in this case we'll call contact, as this will house our contact form. Then we simply close the section off. Then we need to add in our container, and this is going to house all of our actual code. So we add in the div class equals container. And then we close the div off. Now we need to add in our row class. Now all our content will be displayed in a single row. So we only need to add in a single row class. So div class equals row. And then again we did as we did before with the container, we just simply close the div off. Now we need to add in our size class. So Bootstrap rows contain 12 columns along the same row. So here we have 12 columns to play with. Now as our contact form is centered, we can use 6 columns to house our content, and we can offset those columns to center it in the middle of our screen. So we add in our div, and then we give this a size class of colMD6. Now we only need the MD or medium size in here because that will also display the same on the larger screens, and on the smaller screens it will be stacked, so it will fill the row on all those devices. Now as we want to have the form centered on the screen on the medium and up devices, we simply add the offset class in, which will shift the content along by the amount of columns that you specify. So in this case we want to move it along by 3 columns. So we add the colMD offset 3. So this will technically have 3 columns either side of the 6 central columns, so we'll have 12 columns overall. So you could give the original size a class of 9, then offset by 3. That will use the rest of the columns along the row of the content. But as we have 6, if there's any content that is larger than the 6 columns, it will simply wrap it so it always stays central. But then what we do is just simply close off our div. Hopefully that all makes sense. If not, as I mentioned earlier, I have a couple of Bootstrap courses that go through all the basics and cover the grid system and all the other components thoroughly. I don't want to go into too much detail here, as I assume you have the basic understanding already. So we have our classes set up. Now we need to add in our content. So first we have our title. So we can place this in our h1 tag. And then we add in the title of contact form. Then we simply close the tag off. And then we have another line of text underneath the title, which we can add into some paragraph tags. And in this case it is send a message via the form below. There we go, and then we just close off the p tag. So that is the actual basic content that we need to get started. So if we just save that off and overwrite our file, then we just need to refresh our page. We can see the content has been added, and you'll notice that the title and the intro text has been added into the middle set of columns thanks to the offset class that we added in earlier. So the content effectively starts in the 4th column along the 12 column row. Now I think that'll be a good place to stop, so next what we'll do is we'll move on to adding the actual form onto the page, which we will do in our next lecture.